Oh my days, my friends, welcome back to another episode of Hermitcraft. As I go to record the intro, I take off my hat and I'm reminded that I made a change. Look at me! I'm Xisuma, check me out! Yeah, look at this skin that I put together. Oh my god, it's so cool. And I went onto that Bedrock event, Eerie Boyang office, whatever it was, got myself the Eye Blossom cape. Does actually take off the wings. So yeah, there you go. Like, I got the whole matching look to celebrate the update. Fantastic, fantastic. What was I going to do for my intro again? Oh yeah, I was going to like outline that the arc of this episode is to get all of the resin blocks auto-crafted. But it's probably actually going to be like a small part of the episode in terms of how much time we spend on it. And it looks like it's nighttime right now. Yep, we got some creakings over here. And this is actually like a perfect time to demonstrate a change that I've made here. Because we used to collect our resin inside of this barrel. It's full at the moment because I left the barrel there. So the resin goes into the water. But now what you'll see is that we got some trapdoors down there. Actually, that was just the signs that we were looking at. Can you see the trapdoors between the moving creakings? Maybe this is the better view. Yeah. Don't mind the skeleton. Clearly, I need to light up this floor because mobs can actually spawn in there. So, another job on the list. But anyway, now all of the resin is going to get collected in the water stream and pushed along this ice over here. And I set up a very lazy crafting system here to just take those resin and turn them into blocks. Now, I haven't had all the time in the world to AFK. In fact, I've only AFK'd there for like an hour or two. So, not a crazy amount of resin blocks, but hey, it's more than none. So this is temporary. What we're going to do in this episode is get these items to come around this way. Then they need to go upwards. Then they need to go across somewhere over here. And I think it's underneath the bamboo farm that we're going to build an auto-crafting system for all the resin. Now, obviously, this beginning bit right here is really simple, but we have to take this stuff and then we got to smelt it into resin bricks. Let's go ahead and activate the super smelter. And I guess I can craft these up and show you what I'm talking about. So we got to automate making the resin bricks. Then we got to make them into slabs, stairs, and walls. And then the slabs need to be turned into these chisel blocks. And they are the coolest, the absolute coolest of all these new blocks. As you can imagine, that's going to be a little bit of a challenge, but we've done lots of auto-crafting stuff already, so I don't think it's going to be too tedious. But the main thing is that we're going to try and siphon off some of the bamboo to use as a fuel source to automatically smelt this stuff directly above this smelter. But we're going to come back to that later on, as I have other things to show you, including what Jevon's base looks like now that we've pranked it. To be more specific, what does it look like at nighttime? By the way, Jevon's response to the prank was amazing. If you haven't seen it, well, you know, the video's out there on his channel if you want to check it out. And there we go, they pop into existence. A crazy amount of them. Look at this. What a sight to behold. Yeah, I was reading the comments. 100 was definitely a bit brutal, but Jevon clearly liked the prank. I just noticed something though. They don't spawn all the way over on this side. It's probably in proximity to where the player is. So now that I drop down here, are we going to see a few pop up on this side? I don't want to get too close here. Ah, okay. That confirms my suspicion. Oh! God, I just turned to the side to eat a carrot. Jeez, fella, you creaked up on me. Anyways, I have an amazing clip of me and Ren going into that area together. I think you'll love it. But I had some audio issues because I've been having computer issues, and I'm not going to bore you to death with the details. You can hear me moan about all of that on one of my live streams if ever you tune in. But basically, I had some issues again, and I didn't fix all of my audio settings. So I had to borrow Ren's audio for this next clip. However, I don't think it makes too much of a difference. We love the madness.
Ow.
We embrace it.
I'm already taking damage from the environment. No!
What the heck?
Ah, the sun's going down, dude!
You're going to hear like a load of creakling noises.
Okay, okay.
Crackling away, and then bam, they're going to be everywhere.
We have to try and... Oh my good lord!
Ah! Doing the off...
Oh, dude! They're everywhere! You made me scream like a little child. Oh my
Oh,
goodness.
my
Do
days.
you see what is chasing me right now, dude?
Are you still in there?
This
I
is
see you running.
absolute nightmare fuel. There's an army of these things hunting me down. Ow. I'm gonna die. Hold on.
There you are.
Ah!
Keep going, Ren.
No.
Keep going. You can do it. You can do it.
Bro.
Oh my god.
This is the most horrible thing that has ever happened. I'm gonna die. No.
I made a wise decision to leave. Oh my days. There's so many of them. Right, we can't. Oh, they're attacking me.
I'm gonna
We can't
sleep.
let
I'm
your
sleeping,
stuff
dude.
despawn.
I'm sleeping.
Yeah, sleep it away. Sleep it away.
Craig the Creekling is waiting for me where I respawned, though.
For real?
Yeah, back in my base is Craig's chilling over here, man. Craig, dude, please. We don't have time for you right now.
It's always a good time with Ren. Those creakings definitely got the better of him. We are back at the spawn chunks, though, to do a little bit of redstone. I've got something to show you with our mural project. As you know, I've been plugging away at these. And around the corner here, I've got a new one with Zedaf as a placeholder. Did you see it? Look, it's moving! To celebrate Tango's Hungry Hungry Hermits game, we've made an animated armor stand. In fact, there's actually 2 of them over here that are animated, and I'm also working on getting a statistic for all of the food consumed in the game by each player. But clearly there's something wrong, because mine's been counted correctly, but no one else's has. That's something we need to fix, and I also want to fix up the redstone so that this animation runs a little faster, but I'm also going to show you how this was done. It started with creating a bunch of poses, and the idea was to get a juggling animation, which it turns out is pretty tricky when your armor stands have to remain in the same position each time. So from here, we got some invisible armor stands holding the golden carrot, and you can kind of see the trajectory from one arm to the other and back across again. So then I made a bunch of poses like this, where the arms subtly move back and forth to line up with the throwing of the carrot. So maybe it wasn't obvious at first, but is it now? The problem is the animation is really slow, so it doesn't quite look like it's being thrown to the other hand. We're going to fix that up today. I want to show you the redstone down here, though, and how all of this magic works. So if you use the data pack, then you can take advantage of this feature. This is not to be confused with the mod that we right-click on this to get a different interface. You can do the same thing with the books. I like using a combination of both, though. So let's go ahead and pick like a random pose. And now all 3 of them have different poses. So what we do is we walk up so we're closest to one of them, open up the book, go to utilities and click on copy, and then it gets saved into the book. So we go to the second one, that one gets a unique pose, and same goes for the third one. The next trick is to put one of those books that saves the pose into an item frame, and then when this piece of redstone that shares the same block gets powered, it's going to apply that pose to the nearest armor stand that it can find. So let's go ahead and chain these all together. There is a limited range, so these can't be too far apart. We'll go ahead and put one directly in the middle. I'm gonna have to do it like that. Okay, then we go ahead and press the button, and like magic, it goes through the different poses. Although, it only did the first 2. It's probably a timing thing. It probably needs more delay, but you get the idea. There we go. Not as glamorous, but it does the job. Let's just see that one more time. So this is how we animate. We power the books one by one. And of course, we've got 2 sets of them over here. So the big trick was to place down an armor stand on either side and move them both into the middle, but one is ever so slightly to the left and one is ever so slightly to the right. Let's use the free cam, drop down below and look at where these books are. So the left-hand side does the one that's slightly to the left, the right-hand side does the one that's slightly to the right. And that way we're able to animate 2 things at once. Then down here we have some redstone that's not too complicated. We've got a signal decay clock here, and the increased amount of comparators means that the signal strength decays a little slower, which slows down the animation. Then over here, we're subtracting from the original signal, which will create a signal strength that decreases. But we actually want our signal strength to go up one by one so that these all get powered one by one. So we feed that decreasing signal into another one that's got a signal strength so that one starts at 0 and goes up to 5. And as you can see, like the redstone here turns on first of all, then it's the one next to it, after it, and so on. I do my very best. As always, leave a comment. Let me know if you're understanding this stuff, because we're actually going to take this to the next level now. Well, wouldn't you know it, this perfectly optimized redstone courtesy of Cybot does the job perfectly, but it's too fast for the books to keep up. So it tends to miss like the last frame of the animation. So project for my time on my redstone world is to get the data pack on there and come up with the contraption that does like the most frames, most optimized for the fastest animation. Unfortunately, it's probably not going to be too much faster than this. So let's move on swiftly from redstone to building. Let's shift gears and get into some aesthetics. So this view probably looks very similar to how you last saw it. And I haven't really changed the build palette yet, but that's something that we're going to do next. I want to introduce new colors and shapes to this building, because right now I've just ended up kind of extending the same thing around the corner here. But if we take a moment to focus on it, you can see that it's got some really nice structure with these rocks, and the way that it's just built over the canyon here is just awesome. It looks so cool. But then around the back here, you'll see that I'm starting to plan some new shapes, and this is where we're going to introduce some new block palettes. I feel like that's the important thing to do with this build, is to try and break up what we currently have. I'm not entirely sure what that's going to look like, but I've been sketching out some lines for where we could bring new shapes to this build. And so far, the back here isn't quite coming together. It sometimes gets a little sticky as you're trying to figure out what you're doing with your new building blocks, but that's okay because I tend to jump around the build, and the top here has come together quite nicely. We now have a flat roof, which I'm going to build something rather ambitious on top of. It involves some blocks that I went and gathered earlier, fire coral blocks. This also means that I've got to somehow integrate water to keep that red color of theirs. Can you guess what we're going to construct? Whew, just about managed to land. Look at this. Behind the windows, we got some nether warts over here as well. So that just adds like a pop of color. That is a bad time to do free cam. Whew, what are you doing up here, buddy? Okay, get wrecked, get wrecked. What was I going to say? Theme. So like nether warts obviously suit this building because it's where we brew the potions. I think I've given it away, right? It's probably pretty obvious what I'm building here. The water goes on the inside first, and that's so then we can come out here and replace it with our fire corals, which have a lovely pop of red. This is a really gorgeous color. The end result is this alien looking wart, which probably looks its best at a distance, which is how this is going to be seen. And the trick now is just to scale this up for the whole roof, make some ones of different sizes. And yeah, we're having nether warts on the roof. It's going to look great. From just around here, it certainly lacks a little detail, but it's not really made for walking through. It's made from being seen at a distance. So let us walk on through the nether portal and gaze up upon the warts. They kind of lose their shape a little bit individually from down here. Might have to adjust something with that. From this kind of level here, though, when you move around, it looks really good. And it's dead obvious what they are from afar. That is awesome. I think if you didn't know what this building was, it would probably lure you in. Then you'd learn that you can get potions here, and it would all make sense. All right, with the roof done, I think now we can start to work on this back section. I think you're going to like what you're about to see. However, I think I've also learned an important lesson here. We were in a Hermitcraft meeting. The meeting concluded. We're just hanging out, having a good time. And I spent ages just building without even thinking about hitting record. And I actually think that helps you go through the process because there's so much back and forth and changing your mind. And we've ended up with something super cool over here. I really think trying to explain the building process sometimes just gets in your way and slows it down. Like, look at that. It's looking fantastic, right? We've got an amazing combination of colors here. The shape feels awesome. And I haven't even done a pass for details and changing up a couple of the textures, like the copper blocks here could be mixed with some of the fully oxidized. And I think there's some changes I'm going to make to the side and whatnot, but the front came together so well. I'm actually a little sad that this is on the back side of the building. It's not going to get as appreciated as much as the front. Now, what I want to do next was one of the first ideas I came up with for this build. I just wasn't sure if the color palette here is going to fit the rest of it. And that's because I wanted to take advantage of some of the new pale blocks. Check this out. These two blocks next to each other, but a carpet like that adds a little of this color onto it. It's kind of the same thing with the light gray wall too. Then we can use bone meal to like cover the whole of that block. Look at that. That is the perfect transition between these two. So we start with pale down here. We introduce some soft touches of green, and it's a little bit of a squash for this fade, but we can take it up to the regular moss and then mix in, where is it? Some green concrete powder as well. So once we get to this top area, then it's really well saturated. So that I think is a really fantastic transition of color, and just putting it below everything we've built above, it does actually work. All right, let's go ahead and fully implement this idea. I don't know why I ever doubted this. It looks fantastic. As I was putting it together, I realized that the green of the pale moss is kind of similar to the tuff block. And feeling like we needed another texture in the mix, I think tuff on the side of the building could work. I'm possibly going to bring it to the top of the building too. But I reckon around here is where we should wrap it up for now. Like, my building energy has been fully exhausted at this point, and I still want to make some tweaks and changes. I wasn't so keen on mixing in the different copper blocks here. I don't think that every scenario calls for that kind of texture mixing. There's a lot of using the same color over and over again with the bamboo blocks, and it actually looks really good here. Anyways, it's time to tidy up. If you're disappointed that the build isn't finished, it's just going to be something that I chip away at a bit at a time. All right then, let's head over to Loglands. We've got work to do over there. In fact, work has already been done. It's all resin been done. No takers? So below the farm, I have constructed a water stream going across, around the corner, then upwards, around the corner again, and into this interesting setup. We have water streams going in two directions here. I am siphoning off bamboo from the bamboo farm for fuel for now. So where it goes over these hoppers and feeds back around on itself, we're now going to pinch some items for a furnace array. We've got hoppers here pointing into those furnaces. That's to pick up the fuel. And you can see hoppers on this side are collecting the resin that come through to fill up the furnaces. And the total amount of furnaces is 25. Let's do some easy maths. We are going to build a contraption that will be throttled by hopper speed, which is 2.5 items a second. And furnaces take 10 seconds to smelt an item. So with 25 furnaces, we can supply the hoppers with a constant feed of items. And if I scale up the farm behind me in the future, we might actually be able to meet that demand. All right then, let's get to the business. We're going to auto-craft from that chain of hoppers with the smelted bricks. So the first thing we'll do is just siphon some into here for storage, and then we'll be crafting them into bricks. Now we are going with the crafting setup that I used here for all the different wood types. It's been a while since we've looked at that redstone, but it is this system here that's going to do the bulk of the work. I built a single slice here to give you a bit of a refresher. It's not too difficult to understand. This first crafter is simply giving us a signal strength of 8, which we will consistently maintain here, but it can be changed by the next two comparators. So this one here simply detects when an item is successfully crafted from the one above. It will appear in there, change the signal strength there. And I've set this up incorrectly, but our bricks would come in and we would make some stairs here. So when that has the items in it, this will get updated, sending a signal to the bulb, which creates a T flip-flop. So then this redstone turns on, locking the hopper from putting more items in, also powering this block and sending it down. And of course, when it arrives there, that's when this one turns on and changes this signal. It will drain out again, but when this one starts to back up with items from the hopper and the barrel in front of it, it will keep the contraption locked. So then when we come along and take out some items, it'll drain out of this crafter and turn the system back on. So we have that exact same setup tiled for the next two items, the walls and the slabs, but we need to do it a little different for the ones on this side. You see, the bricks that we create here also need to go to the next ingredients. So the crafter that usually does that is now up at the very top. The smelted resin bricks are fed into the crafter from this side, and we can detect when it's full through this system here. So this is signal strength 8. When this thing fills up, it will be signal strength 9, and you can see the observer is then going to power the crafter. Those items will then be siphoned by these hoppers down into the storage at the front, but when that backs up, they'll be able to go off to the side because that hopper is pointing across here, and it feeds all the bricks for the next sections of the crafter. If this barrel is to ever back up with too many items, we of course want the crafting to stop, so we take a signal, we run it around to this side, and we power that block so it locks the hopper that feeds the items into the crafter. And as for the slice that stores the resin bricks, we just use some of the similar redstone to detect when it starts to back up from the barrel here to lock this hopper so that the resin bricks can go around into the crafter. So that's these first 5 items. Now we need to take the bricks flowing through the top, turn them into slabs, and then turn them into the chiseled blocks. If you've understood all of my explanations so far, then this last bit should be pretty simple to understand. Let's get rid of the scaffolding here. All right, so this slice is pretty much like the ones I first showed you. So that does the auto crafting for the items being fed into it, which come from this crafter here. So as you can see, we're doing the old detecting when it's full because we're comparing signal strengths. So the items get fed into the side of the crafter there, and yeah, the items then get delivered down to this crafter. All right, and the last bits are not very interesting because it's basically just going to be storage that I redirect from somewhere else. At the end of the furnace array that I showed you earlier, we have 3 additional hoppers, and then when those are full up, the resin will just drop down the side here. I'm going to collect that from somewhere around here. This is the spot. Right, so those items are going to drop down and get shuffled into the storage. The other items are the ones that get crafted into the full blocks. So these hoppers are picking those up, crafting them into these barrels. So we're going to put some hoppers under here and move them down to the storage area. And with that taken care of, it's time for me to AFK at the farm and make sure it all works. If ever you needed any evidence of this, look at my sword. It takes an absolute beating. I've made thousands of swipes over there, and the result is that this thing has basically fully stocked up. All of the redstone works just like I described it. Oh, and the storage for this, this actually gets crafted here, right? Like, I realized it made more sense to bring those items over here and do the auto crafting, so I've added that. And yeah, I've been using double chests and hoppers to kind of reduce the overall amount of hoppers that you need to get the items from one place to another. Wow! Yo, this thing is backed up. So I said at the beginning of this episode that the auto crafting was going to be the arc, but I actually have a few more things for you at the end of this one. Let's head over to the spawn chunks where I've been building more murals. We've got Doc M hanging out here with some trial keys. This is for the amount of those used over the course of the season. Then we have Killed by Creaking. I added this statistic when we updated the server to the latest update. And because I pranked Jevin, I thought he would be a good fit for this spot. And I guess another prank I did earlier in the season was Impulse's base. We infested all of the stone with silverfish, and so now we've got silverfish heads coming out of the stone, looking at an Impulse over here. Don't know what's going on. He's been mining blocks, and well, he's being attacked by silverfish. It's really great. I love that these help tell some of the stories of the season. Now, this is going to be my last episode for the year, and with it being the Christmas season, I would have liked to have made it a longer episode than this, as I imagine many of you are now probably at home with plenty of free time for the holiday. So I'm going to throw on something a little extra in this one. I played a game of Pearl's Wordle, and if you don't know how my brain works, well, when it comes to words, I generally just draw a blank. So this was quite tough. However, I had a comical time playing Wordle today. 1 diamond to play. Can do, can do. Ah, I don't have many diamonds left. It's frustrating. Very pricey, this game, isn't it? So, flask. Let's do this, homie. Cross your fingers, hope to die. Oh, don't hope to die, actually. That's kind of worrisome. All right, let's confirm our guess. Noises. Whew. What am I going to get? Come on, come on. First time, first time. Oh, that's not good. They're all wrong! Ah! Fascal. This game is a Fascal. Okay, what can the brain come up with next? We've done away with S. Interesting. TR maybe. True. Truth. Trudy. I don't know words. God. Trump. We could go for Trump. TRUMP, right? Alright, we're gonna go with Trump. Not that Trump. Oh, you were thinking about farts, weren't you? You're disgusting. Yeah. Right, this is going to be the most amazing guess. I've got the best guesses you've ever seen. People always tell me, X, why your guess is so good. These are some great letters, you know. Come on. Come on. Hey! So T and M. But it can't be in those spots there, right? So we have to move the T and the M around. I've got a feeling T is going to be the last letter for some reason. This is where I really struggle. Now that there's a few rules, like my brain is very quiet when it comes to giving me... Dude, my brain is so blank. Wait, comet? Oh, comet. There you go. I know what a comet is. I came from one. What? Right, there we go. All the letters are in. Comet. Come on. Yes! Woo! Oh, get in!
Guess the word correctly.
Yes, I have.
Congratulations.
Oh, thank
Enjoy
you.
Your prize.
Yay! Woo! 3 guesses. Nice. That was astral. That was out of this world, man. That was galactically good. Oh, I could do this all day till I run out of words. So 3 guesses, obviously not the best, but I had a great time, and it's a game that doesn't play to my strength. So it's really fun to, you know, get what I think is a good score for me. So that's it, the last episode of the year. I will see you again in 2025 for more Hermitcraft Season 10 action and shenanigans. I can't wait for it. It's going to be wonderful. Thank you for watching this episode. If you enjoyed it, leave a like as always. Thanks for supporting the channel. And I'll see you in the new year with another episode of Hermitcraft. Bye-bye.